man, it's been almost 5 months since we updated this PVE tier list. There have been 7 new cookies that are released, new candies, new PVE content that's released. They've changed difficulty on the story mode, so that changes some things up, and a lot of other things too, guys. So let's go ahead and hop into it now and talk about what's good for PVE now, 4 months later. So first, we're going to start off with the updates and changes to the tier list, and then we'll get into all the new cookies that have released and put them in their specific categories. Go ahead and start off with Wolf. Wolf got a candy. He's absolutely busted. He's good everywhere in the game. So let's go ahead and move him from don't use to level up now. I think he deserves to be level up now because he's good in story mode, he's good in Cookie Alliance, and he's good for guild boss as well. So absolutely level Wolf up now. He snaps for PvE content. Another change is going to be Frost Queen going from the B tier to the A tier. Because of the Frost debuff upgrade, she does get a little bit more damage now, and it helps her out quite a bit. Squid's going to be going S to the A tier now just because of they're better of Abyss teams now, and she's not really used as much for Abyss, and story wise, you don't use her too much. She's only really used for Avatar now because she is one of the biggest damage dealers there, or she helps out a lot there anyways. So yeah, we're moving her down from the S tier to the A tier. Liko got a new candy too, so we're moving him from the L tier to all the way to the B tier now. I think Liko's candy helps out a lot. I do think he's better than Dark Choco now for the Red Velvet Dragon, and also just in story in general, he can help out a lot. This buff also helps him out in Master Mode as well. Cherry Blossom's going from the L tier to the B tier now, just because Cherry Blossom's so good against Avatar. That's really the only thing she's good against is Avatar. You can also use her on a Living Abyss team too, but there's better in slots for her. She's just a best in slot for the Avatar team, so we're putting her there. Oyster's getting moved up from the B tier to the S tier just because she's so good for Living Abyss. She's also good for Avatar, she's good for story, and she's decent for Cookie Alliance too. So yeah, we're moving her up from B to the S tier because she's absolutely snapping in those now. Mint and Pastry are getting moved down to the C tier now because they were good for Avatar. Now they're not as good for Avatar. They're a lot better options, but they're still viable for Avatar if you need a team to use. But yeah, we're moving them down from the B tier to the C tier now. Parfait's now getting moved down from the S tier to the B tier just because I don't think she's an S tier cookie anymore, just because of the decrease in difficulty for story. I just don't think she holds up as true anymore. And also, there's better cookies that have been buffed and new cookies added to the game, which just honestly are better for PvE content than her now. BTS is getting moved up from the A tier to the S tier just because I think they're pretty good for story mode. They're also pretty good for Cookie Alliance. They're not really good for guild boss at all, but for those two things, and also Sweet Tower of Chaos, they're pretty good for it too, and I think they help out a lot more than Parfait can. Now let's get on to some of the biggest upgrades that we've seen all year. Polyberry and Pure Vanilla got huge buffs. Both absolutely level up now. They're both good in every asset of the game. They're good for guild boss, they're good for Cookie Alliance, they're good for normal story mode, and they're good for PvE too, even though we're not going to be talking about PvP much in this video. Both PvE and Hollyberry are getting moved up to the level up now category just because of that. Huge buff, absolutely must level up now. Now, as far as the level up now category, I think we can move down Cotton down from the level up now to this category just because PV does provide a better healing than Cotton now. She does provide pretty good damage output if you need some extra damage, but overall, PV just provides more healing than her now. Also, Wildberry is getting moved down here as well to the S category. Not to say he's bad, but Hollyberry is just a better all-around unit, and yeah, all the rest is going to stay the same here. I like leaving the level up now category to 5 cookies because I think for beginner players and people that don't have that much HP, these are the 5 cookies that should be leveled up immediately so you can use them for your haul and stuff like that. So I am going to be restricting the level up now category to 5 cookies from now on. I'm also going to be moving down Coco from the B tier to the C tier just because she's not used as much anymore and she's not as useful anymore. Also, Rye is going to be moved up from the C tier to the A tier just because of how integral she is against the Avatar boss. I'm also going to be moving down Milk to the C tier now just because he's not as useful to much things anymore. He can be used as a slot for the Living Abyss boss, but for everything else, he's really not used anymore. Also, we're moving down Sorbet as well just because he's not as well used anymore for really anything. I mean, you can use him as a DPS unit if need be, but there's just better options now. But yeah, guys, that's going to about do it for the changes on this tier list. So let's go ahead and hop into all the new cookies added. Starting off with Macaron Cookie. Macaron for me goes straight up to the A category. She is the best in slot for literally 2 of the guild bosses. I mean, you can use her in other places in the game, but guild boss for sure, best in slot for Avatar and Living Abyss. For Carol, we're going to be putting Carol on this list at a B tier because she's only really used for a Living Abyss now. Other than that, she's not really used. That boy Sherbo G Herbo, we're putting him straight in the S rank. He's a great boss killer. He can kill a lot of bosses in the game. He's also decent for some guild bosses if you don't have the correct guild boss teams or like the highest damaging guild boss teams. He can help with Dragon. He can help with Abyss as well. Not Avatar that much, but for those two for sure he can help out a lot with, especially if you don't have the cookies leveled up for it. That boy Pine Bind Dine Cone, Pine Bind Dine Cone for PVE stuff is not that good, so we're gonna put him in the C tier. He's just not that good for PVE content, really anywhere. You just don't really use him much. Oh my boy, the Prophet Cookie. You're just Candy Diver V2, isn't it? We put you in don't use. Honestly, guys, don't even use Prophet Cookie. He provides more stability than Candy Diver did, but overall just still doesn't do that much. As for Milky Way Cookie, we're putting her at the beginning of the B tier, the best B tier cookie, I think, just because you can be using one guild boss. She's decent for story, and she can be using Cookie Alliance as well. Outside of that, though, she's kind of mid. She's not really bad even, but she's not great either. She's like a very mid cookie. So yeah, top of the B tier for me. And finally, for Moonlight Cookie boys, Moonlight Cookie for PvE content is going to go in the S tier. She's not really good for any guild bosses, but she can help you out in story a lot, and she can help you out in Cookie Alliance. And guys, I forgot to bring this up in the video, but I just want to give you guys a heads up that the PvE tier list, not the PvP ones or the arena ones, the PvE tier list will probably be coming out a lot less frequently, just because there's not usually many changes to PvE, and honestly, since the story mode got easier and stuff like that, there's not many changes that we can really make to this tier list. So as far as the release schedule for the PvE tier list, it'll probably be every 4 months or so, just because we have to wait for new content to get released, and also the story mode's gotten really easy. So yeah, 4-month release schedule on these videos now. Just want to give you guys a heads up. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. The tier list will be on screen if you want to screenshot it, do whatever you want with it, look at it, save it, I don't care, meme it. But yeah, boys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hope you guys subscribe to the channel, because only like 10% of you guys are, and maybe come check us out when we stream at twitch.tv/YouTube-can't-see me. We stream there just about every day at 2 p.m. CST. Sometimes we're late, sometimes we're early, but not by much. Anyways, that's gonna do it, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one later. Bye bye.